The first punch came before she even stepped into the ring. Not from a fist, but from the words that burned deeper than any bruise. "Careful, boys, don't hit her too hard. She might break." Private Elena Vargas had heard whispers since the first day she arrived at the Marine Combat Training Facility. At 23, barely 120 pounds, she didn't look like the soldiers the others expected. Where they had bulk, she had agility. Where they had confidence, she had something more dangerous, a point to prove. She didn't join to play soldier. She joined because she'd grown up watching her father, a decorated Marine, struggle with the pain of losing his squad overseas. She swore to carry that legacy, not in words, but in action. But in the first week, it was hell. Push-ups until her arms trembled, obstacle courses where the mud clung to her boots like chains, and drill instructors barking in her face, testing every ounce of her will. And then there were the other recruits, mostly men, mostly bigger, who laughed when she struggled to lift a loaded rifle over her head. One evening in the barracks, she overheard a group of them, 5 Marines, loud and careless, mocking her. "She's a featherweight, can't last in a real fight. If this was the field, she'd be the first to die. She's here to be carried, not to fight." That night, Elena sat alone on her bunk, staring at her blistered hands. The sting wasn't just physical, it was a wound to her pride. She thought of her father's words before she left home. "Greater than, strength isn't about size, Elena. It's about what you do when you're cornered." The next day, her moment came. The challenge, a close combat sparring exercise, no weapons, just raw skill. The 5 Marines who had mocked her were rotated in as her opponents. The instructors didn't expect much. Neither did they. The bell rang. The first Marine charged, expecting to overpower her with sheer force. But Elena ducked, pivoted, and landed a clean jab to his ribs, then swept his legs out from under him. He hit the mat hard, air gone from his lungs. The second came in swinging wild, but she sidestepped, grabbed his arm, and twisted it into a lock that made him yelp before tapping out. By the third opponent, the room had gone silent. Boots squeaked on the mat, fists flew, but Elena's movements were precise, calculated. A quick hook, a knee to the gut, and the third Marine crumpled. The fourth tried brute strength, lifting her in a tackle, but she shifted her weight midair, using his momentum to slam him into the ground. He didn't get up right away. The fifth, he came at her with rage, shouting, "You got lucky with them." She dodged, ducked low, and delivered a spinning kick that sent him staggering back, then a final right cross that knocked him flat. 5 Marines, 5 bodies on the mat, 1 woman standing. The drill instructor blew the whistle. "Vargas, that was unexpected." But the smirk tugging at his lips said otherwise. That night, no one mocked her in the barracks. Instead, they asked her how she trained. They listened, and slowly, respect replaced ridicule. But Elena knew the real victory wasn't in knocking them down, it was in standing her ground. Months later, during a real mission overseas, 2 of those same Marines found themselves pinned under enemy fire. It was Elena who crawled through the dirt, bullets snapping overhead, to pull them to safety. In that moment, they understood what her father had meant. Strength wasn't just muscle, it was grit. It was refusing to quit when the world doubted you. It was proving, over and over, that you belong. And Elena Vargas, she belonged. If you want, I can also adapt this into a 15-minute YouTube-ready narration script with pacing cues, scene descriptions, and emotional beats so it feels cinematic when read aloud. That way, it flows perfectly for video storytelling.